Hey guys, it's Shane, and in this video I'm going to show you the sloppy hog barbecue way to break down a turkey. I sped this video up, but it took me less than 15 minutes. So the first thing I like to do is to get the turkey and take the leg and thigh off. You can see what I did there was pull the skin away from the leg there so I can get more skin coverage on the breast when I go to take it off. But what I just cut around that leg and thigh there, and when I get cut down so far, I'll take that leg and try to pull it back, or the thigh joint there. And of course I cut around the back here also, but when you get to this point, you'll just need to break that joint open and then find the seam in there and just continue to cut around right next to the bone and get as much meat as you can off the bone. And there's one leg. I always like to trim up the pieces there, the fat pieces. The leg and thigh has plenty of fat in it to keep it moist, so I trim up those that I can. Here what I'm doing is I'm deboning the thigh, taking that one bone out, and eventually just trim right around the bone, and you pull it up and start scraping the bone. What I like to do, and as you saw in the opening picture, I will separate this thigh away from the drumstick there. And again, you just have to break that joint there and just find the seam with your knife, the tip of your knife, and just keep cutting down in there and break that away. But what I like to do is cook this separately, and cook the thigh separately from the drumstick, and it just allows it to be moist and juicy, and you don't have the bone to worry about. So there was the first leg, and then I go to the wing section, and I'm just finding where that joint is again with my knife tip, and I'm just cutting around it, finding it, and again where that joint comes in, I'll pop that joint and just put my knife and run it up through there. So it comes off like that, and then I take the tip off and I will separate these two pieces. What you're doing is just breaking and finding the seam in there and running your knife. It shouldn't take too long to do it. And then I will separate these two pieces as well. And sometimes it's hard to find this joint, but if you just move it back and forth, you can usually find that joint pretty easily. It may take you snapping it with your hands like I did here and pulling it out. And then it just comes right apart. You see those two pieces there. So I'll do the same thing here for the other side. I go after and pulling that skin away, and just doing the same thing, cutting around to both of them. I move to the wing here to go ahead and get it out of the way. Just keep running your tip up through there till you can find that joint, and pop that joint and cut it out. There, you can leave it whole if you want to. I did actually go back and trim that wing just like the first one, but for the sake of time, I didn't show you the second one in the video. And the same thing on this leg and thigh. I just cut down to the joint there, and I'll do my best to keep all the meat that I can again on the thigh, cut it off of the body carcass of the turkey, and pop that, come back around the backside, make sure to slide that knife up next to the bone to try to keep as much meat on it as possible. And there, you can cook that whole if you want to. Again, that would make a really good piece to cook. And then I go ahead and debone this breast off. I like to have a boneless breast. I can watch the cooking time and the cooking temperature of it a whole lot quicker. It cooks quicker. But all I'm doing is coming down to the bottom here and just sliding my knife up through right next to the bone. Of course, I make some miscuts also, but you just do your best to slide it right up next to the bone. Keep following that body of that turkey, the bone of the turkey. And I like to keep them, I've done it both ways, but I like to keep these breasts together with one skin. Sometimes the one I did here, I actually did individual breast, But you can see that if you just keep running your knife up through, it'll just peel right away. And I get up to the cartilage area there, and then I'll flip it over and do the other one. And this breast will come off, and I can slide these two back together with one skin if I want to. But again, I'm just sliding that knife right up next to the bone, cutting off as much meat as possible, taking my hand and feeling up there, am I cutting close to the bone or not? And again, I've got this thin blade knife. That's what seems to work well for me, a long thin knife so I can reach up in there. And this one has a curved blade on it that I pick up. I can get in there a little bit easier. And I'm just sliding it up in there, just running it up against the bone, trying to get as much meat on that breast as possible. This turkey here was over 20 pounds, and I was wanting to do this to cut down on some cooking time, and so I can keep each individual piece and pull it when it's done and not overcook one because the other one has to stay on longer. So I usually like to do this the night before, and I will do that and inject it the night before. Sometimes I'll dry brine it before I cook and leave it in the refrigerator there. But you can see when you get both of them cut off, then you can just cut and it releases there. Get rid of that carcass, and then you have your two breasts. And a lot of times I cook them like this, and just put them together and put them on the smoker like that after injecting and putting a rub on the outside. But that's the video today, guys, and thanks for watching.